So this last November, I had COVID, and it sucked. It sucked. But it wasn't because of any real symptoms I have or anything like that. It was more because I was more lonely. I mean, I was stuck in this room all day. Like, I didn't have any Discord or console parties to talk to any of my friends on, and I couldn't go anywhere. Thankfully, though, there were two things that saved me during that time: Domino's Pizza and Fallout New Vegas. Easily two-thirds of that time for me was just wake up, play Fallout New Vegas until 6 o'clock, order a pizza, get back in my room, play more Fallout New Vegas. It was so boring, but I loved it. Now, I never really was a Fallout guy before this. I mean, my first Fallout was 4, and I'll tell you a secret, I never really completed it. But that's besides the point. That's besides the point. I'm not here to give you all these top 10 lists on why it's so great, all these gameplay mechanics, all just why it's such a great game. No. You know it, I know it, the whole internet knows that it's a great game. Instead, what I'm gonna do is tell you what stuck out to me and what made me love the game. After all, this is a love letter to Fallout New Vegas.
You've got mail.
The first memory that always comes to mind to me whenever I think of New Vegas is Nellis Air Base. Just for some context, Nellis is located on the top right of the map and is home to the Boomers, a weapon-loving, leather jacket-wearing tribe of people. In the game, when the courier approaches the base, they're stopped by this dude George, who bets you on whether or not you can make it to the base. At first, I took the 300 cap bet with pride, thinking it'd be just a walk in the park, easy. But I was wrong. Once you start approaching the base, the Boomers start shooting these exploding missiles at you left and right, and there's almost nowhere to turn. After trying 50 times to figure out how to hide from the missiles, instead of doing what any reasonable person would have done and looked up a walkthrough, I decided I wanted to try and outsmart the game. My smartass thought I could just walk along the side of this huge mountain that covers the top of the map, find a place I could get over it, and somehow skip the entire missile section. Okay, so after half an hour, I couldn't scale the mountain. But in that process, I found something better. Aliens. On the side of the mountain, you can stumble across this group of 3 aliens and their ship. It took me a shit ton of save points and deaths to kill the 3 aliens on my own, since I didn't have a partner at the time. But after I killed them, I felt so happy. Without any help from the internet or friends or anyone else, I found this neat little Easter egg all on my own. The second great memory I have with this game is with my first and only confrontation with Caesar. So through all my time in playing New Vegas, I only had one partner with me, Boone. At first I kind of just took him on with me since I didn't have anyone else. But as I played on, I realized the dude's a hell of a partner. Of course he snipes and he puts a lot of damage on enemies, but as I talked with him, I started to realize who he was as a character. He had been a part of a horrific massacre and had lost his wife to the Legion. And as a flawed and hardened character, I sympathized with him. Anyways, while I was randomly exploring with Boone, I came across Cottonwood Cove. At first, Boone was the one that instigated the fight by shooting at the Legion warriors, and soon after, it was like a 2-man war against an army. Without even saving, we'd killed everyone there, including Aurelius of Phoenix. And while I was searching the base, I saw a raft that gave me the option to go to quote-unquote the fort. Again, with my oblivious mind, I just pressed yes, and after the loading screen, Boone and I were treated to another war. Outside the fort, we mowed through Legion warriors, and on the inside, we cleverly hid behind tents to kill the rest of them. Eventually, we got to Caesar's tent, and I felt chills. Without a prompt or a mission or anything, I'd killed Aurelius, gotten past the fort gate, and now stood face to face with a dude that everyone in the Mojave compared to a Tyranius god. It took Boone and I a bit to figure out how to defeat Caesar and his guards, but after some baiting and burning, we did it. We killed Caesar and wiped the fort clean of all Legion warriors. Again, I felt joy at this, but once we exited the camp, Boot talked to my character and spoke about the empty joy he felt after killing the man responsible for kidnapping his wife. In the moment, I felt what I can only describe as fraternal endearment. Boone and I had just slaughtered close to 100 Legionnaires, and as an empty character himself, he was expressing to me how he felt nothing. And best of all, in all of that, I understood him. In those 10 days of strict quarantine I put myself under, I didn't have much vocal contact with anyone. But by killing Caesar with Craig Boone and hearing his full story, I felt some sort of almost human connection with him. The last thing I want to talk about is the ending, and specifically my ending. During my playthrough, I initially wanted to be a powder ganger, but once I found out they didn't have a big role in the game, I switched my allegiance to the NCR. Every chance I got, I helped NCR camps with quests and killed hundreds of Legion warriors. But there was one thing I was oblivious to again: the Yes Man. I killed Mr. House and put the Yes Man into the system as a second thought. And going through the game, I reported back to him with updates on all the factions I investigated. So when the time came for the final couple of missions, I didn't even realize I'd screwed myself over by completely complying with the Yes Man. Once I killed Legate Lanius and the NCR president came to talk to me, I literally had no choice but to kill him and his guards. I felt out of control for the first time, like my fate had been sealed and everything I did for the NCR was for nothing. But then the credits gave me some clarity. As the consequences of my smaller choices rolled by, I still felt constrained. And then Ron Perlman spoke with that famous quote,
"Because war never changes."
Once those final words were spoken, my ending made sense to me. It didn't matter if I sided with the Legion or the NCR or Yes Man. Although my actions did change stuff, my overall allegiance never really mattered. In a game where there are so many characters and the map seems to go on forever, there's only two definitive ways to play the game. You start it and you finish it, just like life. This is my love letter to Obsidian and to Fallout New Vegas. Thank you.